Hello, Factorio people. Welcome back to Factorio Overexplained. I have done a few things off camera in preparation for today's episode. So let's go and look at them, shall we? I crashed into a rock. I did the new iron outpost, but I haven't started bringing it back into the base yet because I wanted to talk about loading up trains efficiently. Which is also what all this nonsense is down here. That's me handcrafting a whole bunch of stack inserters. How on earth? Stack inserters, which we'll talk about. So just ignore that. I just had a problem with iron. That's all. Right. Okay. I can put the radar down as well while I am here. It's a nice little neat spot there. Power is fine. I built a new line of boilers as best I could with the iron I had on hand. As you can see, iron is kind of a problem. Even taking it out of the steel smelting area. But we're about to fix it. We're about to fix it. So here's a whole bunch of iron ore mining. This line I'm just loading. I'm just balancing into this path because it's so small. It's only 3 miners on one half of the belt, so I'm not fussed about it. This is a 4-to-4 lane balancer. If you remember the previous conversation we had about belt balancing and lane balancing, this balances 4 belts over 4 belts, and it does the lanes. So if you have a look, it's ooh, that's the wrong button. Whoa! If you have a look, it's symmetrical. So on this side, half of this belt goes this way, and then this side loads onto another belt like this, so then the lanes are balanced. And then half of this goes this way, half of this goes... It balances it. That's basically all you need to know. It'll be balanced lanes as well. So the 8 of these lanes on the 4 belts will be balanced. Right, so now we can start loading up the train. Let me just put some fuel in it. What's the best way to load up a train? Well, now I've got some stack inserters. Those are definitely the way to go. They move as fast as a fast inserter, but their hand stack size is bigger, so this can pick up 4 as opposed to just whatever our stack size is on the fast inserter. If you go into bonuses, you can see all of the mining productivity you've researched and all of the damage stacks and stuff. So that was just up here, bonuses. Our inserter capacity is just 2, but our stack inserter capacity is 4, so definitely stack inserters are going to be the way to go. A stack inserter at its current speed, so obviously the simplest thing to do is this, right? The problem with this is that 2 and a bit currently can clear this very slow belt. See, these are never working, so it's kind of not the most efficient way to do it. You could then also go, well, I've got 4 belts, so why don't I send one belt this way, send the other belt this way, turn that up on the edge there so that it's not intersecting, and go, that's a touch better, isn't it? That's a touch better. And you'll see here that this one is actually working more than it was before when this was a straight line. And that is due to the weird way that inserters work with grabbing from corners. Slightly more sneaks past. Something to do with it trying to grab from the outside, but the outside is a smaller area here on this inside corner. And this is fine. The problem with this is that this inserter is not working as quickly as it could. It's not working constantly. And the same with this on the corners. It's like, it's fine. It's not the best. It's not the best by any stretch. And also, if you imagine that this train comes back now and it's empty, you only can load it as fast as you can load it from the belt, and you can only load it at 15 items per second. So what if we built a little buffer? So we had some stack inserters pulling from chests that had been preloaded by these stack inserters, so that if this was slow, if this had slowed down or another train comes in very quickly, there is a buffer here that it can pick from while more iron ore actually comes up. Because currently we've only got 4 belts, it's only 60 ore per second. We don't want to be loading our train with a maximum of 60 ore per second, especially because all of the downtime that involves while it goes all the way along here and then unloads, and I'm going to talk about unloading separately, turns around and comes back. That's 60 items per second that we could have been loading ready. So we'll do it like this. And then you've got the whole question of, well, what's the best way, to do this? Is it like this, or is it, like you could really, because inserters can pick up from, from a splitter. Is this a good idea? It would be better if I'd put my power poles on the right side of the tracks so that it was all going to work. And you can see this is alright. This stack insert is not quite grabbing everything. This is a touch overkill, really, to be honest with you. This will become better once our belts go faster, once we get red and blue belts. This is fine. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And this is full now. It's full of iron ore. I'm just going to leave it like this. I don't have enough stack inserts to do the same on the other side, which is kind of annoying, to be honest with you. I should have made sure I built at least 24. So what I'm actually going to do is, because it's kind of a small build anyway, is I'm going to do just a 4. I'm going to do just a 4er. Like this. This will be fine, especially when it's just yellow belts. And I'm going to bung all this. I'm going to just make these chests be full. I don't really care about that. So I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. 4 and 4. 4 chests that I'm not limiting in any way, and some splitters just for the sake of it. I mean, as a rule, your inserters will work better when the belt is in a straight line, be that like that, and it's pulling from this side, or this side, or this side. And a splitter counts as a straight piece of belt. Your inserters work less well when they're pulling from a corner, like this. So just basically, as a rule, try and avoid pulling items from belts from corners. It can just cause some throughput issues, which just make it a little bit more complicated. Right. Let's name this to iron ore out for now. Keep it nice and simple. I'll change the colour, because why not? I'll make it a grey, blue, whatever. And then we will first fix the car. And then quickly drive back to where we're going to unload. Good lord, I honestly thought I'd have missed that. I could pick up the car and drive the train back, but the train's not fully loaded yet, and I want to just wait. Alright, drive. I can drive on the track here with impunity, because I know there's not actually a train running. I did have to build some quick cliff explosives for this, but I did it by hand as to not have anyone missing out on builds. I did build a small little explosive factory. Okay, right, so our trains are left-hand drive, so the train is going to come up this side, and then it's going to turn around, so we want our station to be here, or basically here, unloading, and I'm going to have the 2 belts join these 2 belts here, so that this will at least become completely empty. So we'll get our other station. Our train is 2 carriages long, so as long as we put our station somewhere where the 2 carriages are, then straight unloading is fine. We can upscale this at some point if we need to 4 carriages, but I don't think that we will need to. I think basically we're going to use these to bring iron into the bus base, which is going to be here, as I have said before. But we might find some more iron a bit more. I mean, maybe it is possible that I do it over here, because there's copper and iron here anyway. Maybe I change my mind looking at it and build our city block layout like this. Which is also looking a bit better because there's a lot of ocean here, whereas at least I could get a decent chunk of city blocks built in this space before I have to think about landfilling this ocean here. So that sounds like a good plan, actually. And there's some uranium there, so I can build nuclear power like at the top end of it in city blocks like that are obviously more square. Right. So we know our train is going to stop here, and so we'll build some power poles like this for the unloading aspect. Let me see if I can quickly... What do I need for more stack inserters? Iron gear wheels and green circuits. Oh no, I've got not enough red circuits on me. So let me just very faux pas here, but just pick up a whole bunch of stuff. So I can just quickly make some more stack inserters, because obviously the same principle applies with unloading as it does to loading. You want to be using your stack inserters. Yeah, sure, do that. Handcraft red circuits, good stuff. Well, now what? Oh, green circuits. For the love of God. I should just put these in the mall, really. But I'd have to put red circuits. There we go, 11. Excellent. What am I short on now? Green and gear wheels again. I'll just make more. Except this is the problem I had, is that yeah, I'm running very short on iron. Okay, there we go. You won't need many stack inserters for actually inserting products into assembly machines for quite some time, until you properly start using modules and beacons and stuff, but that's a ways away yet. It's really just for loading and unloading trains. Okay, we can call this iron ore in, and we can click our train from far away. It should be ready to go now, and just tell it to go from iron ore out until full, iron ore in until empty, automatic. There we go. Cool. Right, so that's going to come in now, and we can think about unloading it. Unloading is a little bit more complicated because it's hard to get balanced belts. So obviously if you did this like this, you're only going to get loaded on one side of the belt. So you could do some nonsense like where you go like this and then like do this and side load this onto here, like this is fine. You then have to like, whoops, that's obviously not going to work. You then have to jiggle it because you don't have a huge amount of space for the next belt, like this. You know, you'd have to like underground this, but your yellow undergrounds aren't quite long enough to reach at that point. So what about if you... Ooh, that's not even, they're not even in the right place. That would have probably made things a bit easier if I'd have put them in the right place. What I personally like to do is, when I'm unloading trains, is have a pair of inserters. And again, use your buffer. It's less important for an outbound buffer. It's just more that when if you've got 2 trains running on this line, when this train cargo wagon becomes empty and you don't have a buffer, then these obviously just stop working, so then the belts here are empty. If you have a small buffer of a chest before the unloading onto the belt part of it, if this has 200 ore in the time that it takes this to realise it's empty and drive off and another train to come in, the belt is still being filled with what's in here. It's obviously not relevant right now because I'm only having one train bring this iron ore in, but I'm going to do it anyway just because it's best practice. And because I'm only unloading 2 belts, what I like to do is have my buffer and then do this system, unload straight on to a splitter. And what this does is anything that comes from this inserter, half of it is going to go here and half of it is going to go here. And the same on this side. So you get vaguely balanced lanes on your belt. But also there's some weird edge case here when you unload onto a splitter, it unloads almost twice as fast, because every update that it's checking can the splitter put in its the game updates at 60 updates per second, which you can see up here in my frames per second / updates per second. Frames are capped at 60 and the updates are capped at 60 as well. The game performs calculations 60 times per second. If there's only 15 items on the belt, if the belt can only move at 15 items per second, it's going to take 4 updates for an item to move far enough away that the inserter can place the next one. By unloading onto a splitter, it's actually got 2 separate spaces it can check whether it's unloading onto each update. And I may be explaining that incorrectly, but that is the basic ins and outs of it. Unloading onto a splitter is better, basically. And even at these low belt speeds, it just ensures belt compression as well, I believe. Now these buffers don't need to be that big. I'll go with 200 actually. So we'll do one there like that. Another one here like this. You can shift left click and shift right click your chests in exactly the same way to copy and paste those kinds of settings. In the same way that you can do that for assembly machines, which is nice. And then I'm going to run out of splitters, but the plan is to just integrate these 2 lines directly into what's coming out of the initial oops. And then obviously balance these on the way out as well. I should probably build a proper 2 belt lane balancer as well, to be fair. There is a chance that maybe this fills and empties sooner, so that then only this side of the lane is full at one point. I mean, it's just good practice when you're unloading. Unloading is basically always needs a balancer. It's just always best practice. There'll always be some weird case where something happens somewhere down the line, and this train has half as much as this one, and so then only half of you. I mean, yeah. Balance on the way out of trains, as a rule of thumb. Let me just go and pick up some more splitters, because I kind of forgot to do that. May as well pick up some more belts while I'm there. Just control left clicking the chests there to take everything out of them, just in case we'd forgotten that. Right. Where's my blueprint book? Bilka's Lane Balancers. Who is Bilka? We may never know. So here's your 2-lane balancer. I've not given myself quite enough space, that'll do. So balance the lanes 50-50. Half of them can just go this way and then go back in 50-50. The other half split again and then side loads. So the reason you don't need to side load both to balance it is that any gaps here are going to be filled here when this rebalances both lanes, both belts, sorry, which is the same reason why on your 4x4 version of this you only need to balance each half, because any gaps that arise here, so if say there's a gap here, that's just going to be filled when they merge here, and then it's going to be filled again when they merge here. So if by some weird coincidence, you know, your belts are very empty, and you've got lots of gaps that's not filled by this splitter merging things, they're going to be merged properly here on this side. So that's balanced as well now, so even if only one train had cargo in it, that's going to be balanced on these two lanes evenly. And so then we just integrate this into here, so one lane can be merged in like this. And we'll do input priority for the left side, so we'll actually prioritize this pile first just to get this empty. And then that means I need to bring... I need a bit more space than that, aren't I? Should do the top side first, really. This needs to go like this. And yes, input priority the top side. And then this needs to come across like this. And do the same there. Shift left, shift right to copy those settings. There we go. We're back to 2 full lanes of iron ore. That will hopefully solve these problems. I'm just going to dump. I'll dump the iron ore. I'll dump it into this cargo wagon. I'll try and dump it evenly. 3 stacks and 3 stacks and a bit. There we go. Right. Hooray. Iron ore is solved. For a bit, at least. I mean, it should be solved. For, as long as we are not using any more than 2 lanes of iron, which we shouldn't be. 4.2 million is going to last a long time. And these treasure chests are all, these storage chests are all completely full now, so when this train finally is empty, we can quickly see how moving items from the chest is quicker than moving them from the belt, hopefully. You've got a little while to go, yeah. Alright, so what did that mean for us here? So iron ore is just about keeping up. Some of it's going into steel at the moment. This was not the best idea. This is why this is now proving to not be a good idea, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's just taking its time to permeate down through the furnaces, but if we go into our production chart, we can see that over the last 10 minutes we were running at a very poor rate, and now we've gone not quite as to the dizzying highs that we were at the beginning when we set everything up, but that's probably because we don't need that many. So over the last 5 seconds, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9 thousand plates per minute, and the minute average is just creeping up here, 1.8 a minute basically. 1,000. There we go, nice full lanes. Oh, the train's gone. Ah, just in time, just in time. So these stack inserters are just going to pull at speed from the boxes, and you can probably see here how they're working faster than these ones are pulling from the belts. And if we look down here at the number, this should tick down 2.2 thousand. It should. It's kind of weird that the storage chest, steel chest, can hold as much as this entire wagon, but we don't talk about that. If these were too big, the game would be balanced far too heavily around trains, and the trains are already super useful as it is. That's the basics of loading and unloading your trains, at the very least. There's some more to go into, especially when we start getting faster belts, and things are going to be moving in, but see, that was very quick. That was very, very quick. So then this can continue to work and refill these chests while the train is leaving. And as we can see here, the buffer for these was not big enough. We're going to need a bit more of a buffer here so that in the time it takes that action to happen, we don't quite, it's not much. It's not much. I'll double it. In fact, I'll just do the whole top row. Shift right, shift left to copy all these things down. Check the bottom one, because that's the only one you need to check if everything's pasted or not. If this one hasn't pasted, then obviously these haven't. If this one has, then obviously you know that it got pasted all the way down. There is a very slight audio cue as well on the copy-paste action, which you can use. It's probably too quiet for you to be picking up here on YouTube now, but especially with the music on and me talking. I'm kind of worried about coal now that I've done a second row of boilers, but now that iron's back up and running, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's tasty. Now that iron's back up and running in a meaningful way, solar panels and accumulators and everything like that should be sorted. Right, we can kick some research off again now that we've actually got the stuff that we need, and let's go with the inserter capacity bonus. So here we can see our stack inserters will go up to 4 from 5. Bonuses, yeah, go up to 5, so it'll be even better. Unloading and loading will be even faster now. They can go up to 12, just FYI. Right, we needed to do that because we were never going to have enough iron and steel to get electric engine units done. Because we needed engine units to make electric engine units, and that was in fact the goal of everything. Do I need this? Is this just a copy and paste artifact? I believe so. So science is all gravy now. Power is fine. Solar panels are worth... Yep, may as well bring that up now. It's going to be steel and electronic circuits, which are all fine because iron is now sorted. Accumulators. Whoa, lads, nice. Okay, let's quickly do this electric engine build then, which I talked about maybe starting last time and didn't do. Electric engine units, in you go. Oops. And then we wanted an electric. That's not right. We want. We found out last time that the ratio is just 1 to 1. These take 10 seconds to make 1 engine unit, and these take 1 engine unit per 10 seconds. But these also need electronic circuits and some lubricant. So the best thing to do is to build it 3 tiles away, which is why I do this. Like, I know it's not huge. You could just count it, but this is just, you know, 3 tiles away. And then we want electric engine units being made here, so we can have the electronic circuits coming in either here or here, depending on if we do this. Exactly how we want to do this. So let's plan this out, shall we? Let's plan this out. If electronic circuits come in here, then an inserter, a red inserter there, a long-handed inserter can grab from the belt. And then another red inserter there can grab from the assembly machine into this. And this is important to note that these don't like block each other, they don't like get into a mess. It looks very strange, but there's nothing stopping this operation from working. So then we'll do the same on this side, and then that means we need to bring some lubricant in, which doesn't quite work unless we do this, which looks like a mess. But does actually work. So when you're putting fluids into an assembly machine, this is the first time we've done this now, you get one input and it's on the middle tile, and you can rotate around like this. I suppose the other way is we could do it on the bottom. That was very quick. I'm just going to pick the first one in the list that doesn't need military science. Because it's in the middle, and not like with your chemical plants where they're on the edges, you can't do this system. I believe, looking at it, this is fine. Because then what we want to do is we want to be putting these directly into flying robot frame assembly machines as well, because this is the whole reason we're doing this right now, is because we want flying robot frames. We do need electric engines to make production science, no? To make utility science, we'll need electric engine units because yellow science needs flying robot frames, but really we want a supply of flying robot frames so we can finally flipping get robots sorted. After 60 hours of gameplay, finally get robots sorted. So these electric engine units and these regular engines and these electric engine units, they don't need to go anywhere that's not just these machines making flying robot frames. And they will need one electric engine unit and then also electronic circuits, batteries and steel, which we have on the bus. So the question is whether we do it like this. We put the pipe here on this side, or we put the pipe here on this side, knowing that we're going to be directly inserting. I mean, we've got all this dead space up here, so really we should just do it that way. Like, we definitely just should do it that way. There's no other reason to do it any other way, because that is where the space is. Lasers are finished. Excellent. I suppose that didn't work. I suppose if we're going to space our assembly machines out by one like this for each tileable build, I suppose the pipes could go in the middle like this, but then we wouldn't have... Oh no, that does work, because this would then go like this, and that could go like that on each side, because then this one would obviously go from this side, because there's nothing stopping it from making a T-junction. Just fills it in automatically, which is nice. That looks a touch cleaner. Does that mean we can move everything up by one tile somehow? It probably does, doesn't it? So let's do that. So this can be just the... no, what was it? Yeah, just the one tile away, yeah. So this long arm will take from the assembly machine, and this small arm will take from the belt, because that's where the green circuits are going to be coming in. And then with one space, copy, paste, with one space there like that, the pipes can do this. Yes, that was correct. Cool. Very tidy. Very tidy. Alright, so then the same on the other side. We need to work out how we're getting everything else in for flying robot frames. We need one arm bringing the actual electric engine units across. It's not quite at ratio. This will make one every 10 seconds. This needs one... Oh, this needs one in 20 seconds. Where did I get 24 seconds from? What was I looking at for that? This needs one in 20 seconds. So actually, for every one of these, we can do two, which is actually a total nightmare, because there's never going to be enough space. Maybe we should just put these on a belt then. Maybe we should just put these on a belt, and then at the end we can have a mixed belt of electric engine units and circuits, say, and then another mixed belt of batteries and steel plates. The research is going so quickly. Does it matter? Does it really matter? Would I rather just be building them straight into one every 20 seconds, one in 10 seconds? It's a shame, because there's not really any way I get 4 of these. Because even if this one is on the far edge, I don't know. I should have had a bit more of a plan than I do currently. I'll need that space for power poles. Alright, well, whatever. Let's take a line of electronic circuits out of here. My pylon is very annoyingly in the way. Just bring it up a bit, thank you. And then let's get the lube out, shall we? Banter. Where did I put it? It's all the way up here. Oh no. That's okay, I believe. I guess I need to bring it... Oh god, why did I not leave enough space for this? I need it here, really. So I guess I should bring it down this way. I always rush now. Like, once I get to this bit, I'm always like, alright, it's fine. We're just about to get robots. It's fine. This bit of the base will not last much longer. Get rid of it. It's fine. As long as I can just find a row here for pipes that doesn't clash with anything else. And I always end up making this bit a lot harder on myself than it needs to be, because I always think I'm so close to robots. It's fine. This bit of the base will only last 20 minutes. And then like 10 hours later I finally get bloody flying robot frames up. Like, why didn't I plan this better? Alright, let's take this from the other side. No, it's going to clash with this row of batteries. It's because building things by hand is incredibly tedious. But it still would be faster to plan it better and only have to build it by hand in a sensible way than do what I'm doing now. But I suppose that's just a lesson. Let this be a lesson to everybody. I'm worried about how far this pipe is going without any more pump. Without any pump moving the fluid around, but I believe it will be fine just because we use it in such low quantities. This is really dumb. Why did I do it like that? There we go. Hooray! Electric engine units. What's a sensible number? Let's say... Oops, that's the wrong way. Let's say 6. I suppose. I guess. I don't really know. I do want robots at numbers. At high numbers. And when I say high numbers, I do mean like eventually in the tens of thousands. So 6 of these can supply 12 flying robot frame factories. 12 in 20 seconds is 36 a minute. 36 robots a minute. Just under 1 every 2 seconds. And then I can use those robots to fill in the personal roboports, which I'll need to start building at a decent number as well, which will also is going to need more power, but we can solve power soon, hopefully. Once we start thinking about uranium processing, nuclear processing, we'll get, at the very least, we'll get the better steam turbine. Yes, here in nuclear power you get the slightly better steam turbine, which consumes 60 steam per second but outputs 5.82 megawatts, which you're supposed to use to just plug into nuclear power, but there's nothing stopping you from overwriting your steam engines with it. So the 2 steam engines using 30 steam a second give you 1.8 megawatts, whereas this technology here, for the 60 steam, you get 5.82 megawatts. So it's a nice interim to just swap your steam engines for steam turbines before you then worry about actually setting up the nuclear power, which is going to be, oh boy. So let's queue this up, because then that will at least give us this straight afterwards, and then we can expand the power supply quite a lot, because these roboports chug up the energy charging the robots, but we want that. That's what we want. We want the robots to start doing all the work for us, and then you won't have to watch me copy and paste. You won't have to watch me, these power poles are in the wrong place, paint by numbers like this, but incorrectly. Why are these not working now? They don't have the engine units, because I didn't put the long-handed inserters down. Right, okay, good. Engine units onto the bus, please. Right, flying robot frames. 12 flying robot frame factories. It's a shame I couldn't quite have worked out how to put this on the thing. 12 flying robot frame factories like this. 1, 2. I'll move them up slightly. There, that'll do. 1, 2. 2 belts through the middle for the 4 inputs that they need. Do the old too close, too far away jobby. This is a standard build that you've probably seen up in the advanced assembly unit, advanced circuitry thing. Slightly different because it was only 3 inputs, but the same principle applies. It's just that we needed 2 lanes of copper wires for that one. So then this is simply flying robot frames. Give me half a belt of electric engine units, half a belt of steel. These can just go like this, after all. So I can force half a belt here by side loading, but not actually just using this side. It would have been better if I'd have actually side loaded it on the right side of the belt though. On the correct side of the belt. How can I fix this? Fluffed it. Fluffed it, mate. I'm rushing too fast to get this episode done with some flying robot frames having been built. Hideous. Absolutely hideous. But it works. And then the other belt is batteries and electric circuits. Is that right? Yes. This should be slightly easier to manage. Helps if you point the belts the right way as well. Just tidying up the bus. Just because I will need probably a non-zero amount of things being built. You are not working because you are working. Okay. Copy and paste this. Tree is in the way. How dare you? Quick. Steam. Nuclear power. Research. There and there. Power. Belts. Those are irrelevant. In you go. Just correctly, please. Missed that bit. Outputs. Inputs. Oh, are you serious? Am I one fast inserter short of a picnic? It's a phrase. Can't prove that it's not. I built it and then realised I'll just use a stack inserter because I'm lazy. But look, it's flying robot frames. We've actually done it. We've actually done it. Right, turning flying robot frames into robots is a very simple case of just either choosing advanced circuits or electronic circuits, depending whether you want construction or logistics. And we won't go into that now because obviously the episode is over. So next time we can talk about robots. Hooray! 16 episodes down. It's finally got a robot. So I've got these electric engine units on me from moving stuff around, and a whole bunch of real engine units on me for the same reason. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment. Oh, electronic circuit's looking a bit poor. I'll fix that later. Oh, you're not telling me copper's a problem now, are you? It's fine. It'll catch up. And if you want to see more Factorio Over-Explained, be sure to subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.